this time. NFL Week 4, DFS Deep Dive. We're back live. Let's get into it.
Don't just stay in the shallow end. Join us on a DFS Deep Dive on For Frequency's Sake. And now here are your hosts, Brian Craighead and Jordan Kernan.
Bear with me 1 second. Let me just make sure that this is working. There we go. That's what I like to hear. We're back. DFS Deep Dive, NFL Week 4. Brian can't join me. He's getting ready to move. Best wishes, best of luck to you, Brian. Hopefully everything goes smooth. I hate moving. It sucks. Guys, it's been a while. I'm excited to be back. I was in Oklahoma. I tried to do a Week 1 recap for you guys. I tried to record some stuff, and my mic cut out again. I don't know why I'm having crazy technical difficulties going on this year to start, but hopefully we can make through this one pretty quick, pretty easy, and get you guys some great content here and some great information, because so far, with the exception of last week, I've been pretty good. So I'm going to give you a quick look at my spreadsheet, which I put in my article, or at least I've recently been putting in my article every week. It's going to take a minute to upload here. I had it uploaded, and then my microphone went dead, and so, yeah, that's kind of where we've been. So, but to start the year, we started off with very minimal, 20, 25 bucks, put it in there week 1, because week 1 was crazy. Ended up doubling up. Then week 2, ended up putting in just a little bit more and ended up tripling up. And then last week, pretty much a wash, came out pretty dead even. And then week 4, looking into what's going to happen this week, there is a ton of injury news. And when I say a ton, I mean a ton of injury news. All right, sweet, it's up. Let me get my screen shared here. All right, so you should be able to see it. I've got it broken down. I'll go into October here once we get there, but we've got one more week in September. It's going to take us right to the end of September. Like I said, week 1 total started off Thursday Night Football. Basically what I'm doing is I'm putting what I have in, what I have out, what we started with, what our total is, and then what we're making each week here, and then on what separate days. So I've got it broken down. If you're like me, I highly suggest only playing, I've only been playing $1, $1.50 in the showdowns, strictly because they're just so unpredictable. It's one of those things to where you could have the best lineup and somebody's always going to be just a little bit better than you. Switch these around because I put them in the wrong spot. This should be $1 in and $1.50 out. I'll figure it out eventually. But yeah, showdowns, I don't play a ton of money. I just play them so I can get the days in, because DraftKings offers certain credits, certain rewards for playing every day of the football season. So that's how I get those extra days in, is just playing, just $1 here and there. Nothing crazy. You can see on the Monday night slate here, when they have the 2-gamer, so there's another 2-gamer this Monday night, I play a little bit more. Those ones are a little bit easier to decipher. And in this one here, in all honesty, I was cashing until the fourth quarter of the Washington and Cincinnati game. That game kind of just blew up in the fourth quarter and kept going back and forth, back and forth. And then there was a stat correction that knocked me out of cash. So week 1, $30 in, $69 out for a $39 profit. Week 2, $41 in total, $65 profit. And then, yes, I kind of cheated the system. $68 in, $68.80 out for another profitable week. So technically, all 3 weeks we've been profitable to start the season. So looking ahead, we're getting ready to enter week 4. If you're like me, your season-long fantasy team is probably in shambles. It seems like every quarterback, or I'm sorry, not every quarterback, but every running back I've drafted and or picked up off the waiver wire is just hurt. It's I don't know. I don't know where it's just injuries galore out there, and it's not like crazy injuries. Like Pacheco is probably the worst one for me, but I mean, you've got like Kenneth Walker, who just out for a few games. Same thing with like AJ Brown, out for just a few games. I had Jake Ferguson, who thankfully didn't tear his ACL because I immediately thought that's what happened. And yeah, fantasy gods had me in their prayers that time. But yeah, just one of those things where it's like the injuries are just crazy. We got a full slate again. There's no bye weeks until after the week, so full slate coming right at you. We've already had the Cowboys. The Cowboys still look like garbage on Thursday night. They couldn't score. They couldn't move the ball, and about lost that game last night. You could imagine how upset I was watching that game. They looked good week 1, and then week 2 and 3 just came out and just terrible. And even last night just didn't look good. Couldn't get the offense going. But we're not here to talk about Thursday night. We're here to talk about Sunday, the main slate. And let's get it going. My article will be out tomorrow. All the injury news has kind of put a hold on everything. We'll talk about it tonight. But let's start with the games to target here. I've got 5 of them. One of them is kind of a sneaky play. We kind of talked about it in the Slack chat. But first one on the slate, one that I love, one that I'm targeting. Commanders at the Cardinals. Cardinals, 3-point favorites, over under 50.5 points. As of right now, this is the highest potential scoring game on the slate. Jaden Daniels has looked like a stud through the first 3 weeks so far. He does a lot with his legs. He's always a threat to get to the end zone. And same thing with Kyler Murray. Kyler Murray is the same way. Defense is not super good, but not terrible. But I definitely I like the over in this game. If Jaden Daniels can continue to do what he's doing, he's cheap. I think he's going to get up there kind of the way Anthony Richardson was before he got hurt. Anthony Richardson was in like the 7K range pretty quick, and then he went down with an injury. But I don't think Jaden Daniels stays under $7,000 here much longer. I think he's already $6,500 this week. He's going to start creeping up. But I like both sides of that game. I don't mind Kyler Murray, but I think I'm more on Jaden Daniels. This gives you a little bit of savings. Next game on the slate that I've got, Bengals at Panthers. Cincinnati's a 4-point favorite, over under 46.5 points. Last week was the first week that Joe Burrow had all of his weapons, like a full complement of weapons. They looked okay, not the greatest still, but I don't mind it. I wish Joe Burrow was priced just a little bit cheaper, but it is what it is. The Panthers, you got the Red Rifle, Andy Dalton, bringing him back from the dead. Just came out and just killed it. And I was a little upset that I didn't just jump on the chalk there, because I thought there was a better play on the slate, and that's probably what caused me from doubling up in a lot of things. But yeah, out, throws it 3 touchdowns, 3 or 4 touchdowns. Touchdowns this guy threw last week. He came out and just murdered it. He did throw 3 touchdowns. So 3 touchdowns for the man last week. And they didn't price him up very much. He is going to be without Adam Thielen. So Deontay Johnson was questionable as well, but I think he's got enough there to have another good week at the price that he is. And the Bengals defense doesn't scare me a whole lot. I do like the Joe Burrow side of that too. You can stack him pretty cheap and pretty easily as well. He's got some good weapons on the team. Next game after that, I got the Jags with the Texans. Houston minus 6.5 points, over under 45.5. The Jaguars are just terrible all season long. They just can't seem to get it going. They had probably their best showing last week. Christian Kirk. I mean, I guess week 1 against Miami, they kind of kept Miami on the ropes the whole time, and then just kind of shit the bed. And then ever since then, just bad. Last week, I'm not even going to say I don't know why I even was going to say that they looked pretty good last week because they looked abysmal against the Bills. But they give the Texans. The Texans just let Sam Darnold pass all over them. I feel like Trevor Lawrence is a better talent than Sam Darnold. We can argue about it if you want. I don't know if maybe the Jags get it going this week, but they have another tough test. I do definitely think that they're going to beat 0-4 after this. Because it's been a while since I've done this, guys. They are 0-3. Yeah, I just want to make sure. I'm trying to make sure I got all the facts. I can't be out here spitting anything. But I think they're 0-4 after this week. I think the Texans bounce back. The Texans sound they're not going to have Tank Dell. Joe Mixon was back at practice today, but it might look like Cam Akers getting the backfield in. If last week was anything to show about what Cam Akers has left in the tank, it's not a whole lot. 2 more games. Eagles at the Bucs. Philly minus 2 points. Over under 44.5. The Eagles are in a world of hurt right now. We got Devonta Smith out. A.J. Brown is still questionable. And then, I can't you guys' name at the moment, but Covey is on the IR. So they are down to, and they have Jahan Dotson, which I was really excited that Jahan Dotson was on the Eagles, drafted in a couple best ball leagues, and this might be a time to shine. So we could see an A.J. Brown and Jahan Dotson 1-2 punch for the Eagles. The Bucs, I like the Bucs side of the ball. Baker Mayfield, great week 1, mediocre week 2, kind of brought it back last week, but the Eagles defense is still suspect. Their secondary is not the greatest. We'll see what happens here. I do think with injuries, I wouldn't be surprised to see this spread swing, especially with the Bucs being at home. I'm kind of surprised that it hasn't yet. I mean, the Eagles are, I think, far and away a better team. I think they have better talent. But if they're going to be down their top 2 wide receivers and then possibly even their top 3 wide receivers, there's only so much that Jalen Hurts and Saquon Barkley can do. And then my sneaky play of the slate, the one that we kind of talked about, the one that I think, if Jordan Love comes back, I agree with the spread. But if he doesn't play, I don't agree with the spread. Vikings at Packers, Green Bay minus 2.5 points, over under 43.5 points. Man, the Vikings good. Defense has been solid. Offense has been clicking. Jordan Addison possibly coming back. Jordan Love possibly coming back. This could be this could either go one of 2 ways. It could be a stout defensive divisional game in Lambeau. It's not quite cold yet, but I think if it was like a cold game, this would be a really good one. Or it's going to be one of those back and forth. Everybody's going to score on everybody. We've got you figured out. But as of right now, I think the Vikings take this. I mean, they've been playing some great ball. Their defense has been on board. And I think the Packers are really going to need Jordan Love back to have a shot at winning this game. And then I've got one game to fade here. Browns at the Raiders. Both these teams, just week 1, they look like garbage. Coaching mistakes, some mental errors, just getting ran into the dirt. Then week 2, they both brought it back. Raiders had a good showing. Big win. Browns, good showing. Big win. Thinking, okay, hey, they got the first week jitters out of their system. And then last week, the Browns dropping the game to the Giants. The Giants beat them from start to finish. And it wasn't even a competition. It was bad. It was just bad football. And then the Raiders, granted, they didn't have to play. Like if Bryce Young would have came out and beat the Raiders, okay, then we could have talked about the Raiders. But I mean, even still, you're letting the Red Rifle come out and just pour on you, and you can't do anything to stop him. But Browns at Raiders, Las Vegas, 2-point favorite, over under a low 36 and a half total. Just not very good. I'm kind of staying away from that game. We just learned that Devonta Adams is out, so the injuries are starting to pile up here for a lot of these teams. And we'll get into it. We'll talk. We're going to go through position, talk about the injuries. Quarterback is probably the one that's the safest at this point in time, but I'm going to get you to a commercial. Durham remodeling. We're going to get back into the breakdown positions for DraftKings Sunday main slate.
Serving the Quad Cities area since 1973. And with over 50 years of excellence on their track record, you'll see why it's so easy to trust their experts when it comes to all of your home improvement projects. This family-owned business has you covered on all your needs. Protect your home or building from the elements today and get great roof repair services. Need new windows? No problem. Durham Remodeling can upgrade your windows and doors. Whether you want to upgrade the little details in your home or office, or want to tear a room down and start fresh, the expert contractors at Durham Remodeling have your back. Even the smallest changes can completely transform your space. Ready to start entertaining your friends for backyard barbecues? Durham Remodeling will help you plan, design, and build your deck and patio for the perfect outdoor space. Durham Remodeling's work is 100% guaranteed, so you can rest assured that you're getting the best service around. Call 309-786-6715 today for your free estimate for all your roofing, siding, flooring, windows, and painting needs. That's Durham Remodeling, 309-786-6715.
Always, Durham Remodeling. Reppin' for frequency's sake. Sponsor for a long time. Appreciate you guys. Thank you very much. Let's get into this breakdown. Quarterbacks to start. First, I'm going to kind of give you a quick little look at my lineup here. This is kind of what I started with. We had Jaden Daniels, Jordan Mason, who's been a staple in all of my lineups to start the season. Just with Christian McCaffrey, I mean, he was dirt cheap, and they still even refused to price him up. I mean, he's still just, I mean, he's getting there, but it's just not quite that crazy. Chuba Hubbard, without Adam Thielen, there is a possibility if they lean a little bit more on there. And, now that they have a passing game, I do think that Hubbard could have a decent game. No Tank Dell for Houston, so I like Steffi Diggs. Brandon Ayuk. So Juwan Jennings was the guy last week. The man scored 49 point some odd points. I almost replaced Ayuk with Jennings. I went right back to Ayuk. Price right. Still no Deebo Samuel. Still no George Kittle. And everybody's going to be on Juwan Jennings. So if you want to get a little different, I think Brandon Ayuk's it. I stacked Terry McLaurin with Jaden Daniels. I think that's going to be a good connection. You could even go Noah Brown. Noah Brown should be operating as the number 2 wide receiver. So if you want to get dirt cheap, I'm pretty sure Noah Brown's 3K. So that could let you pay up. I mean, you can put a monster running back, which I really do like Saquon Barkley this week. But as of right now, this is what I can afford. Then I think Brandon Strange or Brenton Strange. So Brenton Strange, I put him he was in my Monday lineup. I think he caught a touchdown, which kind of helped me. But at $3,100, no Evan Ingram again this week. So I don't mind it. And it kind of gives me a little back and forth with Steffi Diggs and Brenton Strange there in that Jacksonville-Houston game, which is on my top 5. Zach Moss, kind of again, same little thing, a little bounce back. I got both running backs, which I normally don't do that, but they're just cheap enough and it fits. And then Texans defense, just look, I mean, at 3K, they were kind of right middle of the pack. I'm sure we'll come across some different ones as we get going. But now let's clear out this lineup. And let's go through the player position here. starting with the quarterback position, we've got Jalen Hurts, top of the state, highest price quarterback, 7,200. I didn't mind him at first, but now if these guys are, if his wide receivers are going to be out, like, no, thank you. Not for that price when I can pay down, almost $1,000 and get to, a Jaden Daniels or even a Baker Mayfield. Pat Mahomes, I'm not ripping up Pat Mahomes. Dude's a great quarterback. I will say that I probably disagree with some of the people that are out there, but, I don't think all those games have been decided off penalties. I definitely do think that the Atlanta game, I do think that they got there a little bit early on that pass interference call, but nonetheless, the Chiefs are 3-0. Pat Mahomes, though, it seems like him and Kelsey have both kind of taken a step back. Travis Kelsey just not the greatest, and then Pat Mahomes it seems like he's kind of gone downhill with him. And I thought maybe it was because Pacheco was kind of taking a bunch of the load, but even Pacheco hurt, he's still, not doing a ton. So if you look at his game log from last week, he's just not paying off, man. I mean, $7,000 in salary, and maybe it's because of the matchups, but 17 points, it's just not getting it done. You need more like 25 to 30 points at that price range to make sure that he pays off that price. CJ Stroud, I like CJ Stroud's price point. It's a really good price point, $7K. He's got the great matchup. We just watched what Josh Allen did, and Josh Allen he scored like 40 points in the first half, and then really didn't do a whole lot just because the game was out of hand. Then we're going to jump down to Kyler Murray. Favorite game of the week, the Kyler Murray, Jaden Daniels here. I mean, you're talking a $3 price difference. I don't buy DraftKings. I never go off DraftKings rankings. But yeah, 30. I don't think Washington's should be ranked 32nd. But Murray, he's just a little bit harder to stack than Jaden Daniels, and that's why I kind of lean Jaden Daniels, even though I like the home quarterbacks better than away quarterbacks. But either way, I think either one of those guys can get it done. If you can find the salary to pay up the extra $300, but I mean, I guess I'm going to save my money. I'm going to go down to Jaden Daniels. Joe Burrow sandwiched in the middle of $6,600. I do like Joe Burrow. I like the matchup. I like the way he looked last week. I don't foresee the Bengals going 0-3. I definitely do think they get back on track with a win here. So they're going to be on the road trying to do it. But I think Joe Burrow, I think he comes out. I think you can stack him again with you could go with tight end. I think Gesicki. Mike Gesicki is now his tight end. Yep. So I think you could go with tight end and one of the two wide receivers. I prefer Chase. He's just more expensive. But Higgins, now that he's got a game under his belt, I think he can come out and do something. Baker Mayfield against the suspect Philly secondary. The dude was, for a while, the highest scoring quarterback in fantasy, and now he's kind of tapered off a little bit, but he's got the weapons to do it. Anthony Richardson going up against Pittsburgh's D, like, I'll pass. Same thing with Aaron Rodgers. Not comparing Baker Mayfield and Aaron Rodgers, but Denver's D buckled down last week and really just put a hurt on somebody. Aaron Rodgers is a way better quarterback than Baker Mayfield could ever dream of being, but it's just a low-scoring affair. And I think if the Jets do get ahead, their defense is good enough to kind of keep Bo Nix at bay. Brock Purdy, he's been called on to do a little bit more. He just doesn't do it for me. The Giants, no matter who, or I'm sorry, not the Giants. I'm thinking baseball in the brain. The 49ers are a run-first team, and it just doesn't bode well for Brock Purdy. And even at 18 fantasy points per game that he's averaging right now, if you look at that compared to his salary, it's 3 times his salary. Better, but still not great. Jordan Love, I'm going to stay away from that. Minnesota's D just scares me a little bit. Derek Carr, this divisional game here, started off hot, then got even hotter, and then last week kind of had a dud. Chris Olave got hurt at practice today. They could be without Alvin Kamara. I mean, the injuries are just piling up everywhere, guys. I don't know what else to tell you. Kirk Cousins hasn't been anything to write home about. Trevor Lawrence, maybe. I mean, if you want to get on the Trevor Lawrence train, this would probably be the week to do it. Hasn't scored over 13 points, but even at 15 points, I mean, you're talking that's pretty close to 3x his salary. Houston's defense not as stout as anybody thought it would be. So if they have to play from behind, he could sling it. But, I think the only person he's going to be missing out on is Evan Ingram at the moment. So still has Christian Kirk, Gabe Davis, Travis Etienne, Tank Bigsby. So he's got it all. He's got the weapons. So, I mean, if you want to take a shot on him, he's cheap.
My name's Ryan Allison. I've spent over a decade immersed in the art of tattooing. Sharply honing my skills has materialized into a diverse and prestigious body of work. Each tattoo reflects my relentless pursuit of excellence, and every client I work with is a living embodiment of that unwavering commitment. I will gladly and wholeheartedly embrace your distinct vision.